What's up, YouTubers? Here with the Volkswagen Tiguan. If you're getting water inside your car, for example on your carpet, most likely you'll recognize it there, or on your seat, it will be a little wet. So long story short, what you have going on in this car is the sunroof has drain tubes, and it's one tube that goes right through here, all the way and out the side. So you might notice water starting coming from here, most likely. What happens is the pipe ends up separating. Two common spots where this happens. One right up top over here disconnects the tube, or once you remove this pillar down here, this clip, I have a backup clip, you probably need one of these. So you can see this is how this works right over here. This is a clamp, it's on both sides. This one's going to be right up top over here, and these smaller ones as such, there's two of them right over here. A description, the number of the clip that you need to get in case it breaks, so that you can actually properly put this piece back. Best place for you to start if you don't have a removal tool for the moldings is kind of just take a bunch of cards like I do as such, put them together, and you could start wedging this area right up top right over here. This will give you some leverage. As you can see, this will pop off. Then with my hand, just kind of work this off. As I said, there's a clip right up top over here, and over here, so you have 3 clips. Now, being that I don't have the top clip here from whoever worked on it first, I could kind of pull this off. You may have to work with this area a little bit more. You're probably gonna have to come up top through here and have something to either remove this part up over here. It will be as such in this area up top over here. So you're probably gonna have to, if you're capable of it, getting your hands in there, getting a tool and clamping this together in order to pull this out. So let me show you what this looks like once you're removed. Kind of work this off. As you can see, it kind of popped out of there, got that little corner. Now you're able to get that off to the side. And so you can see down the rail, that's one clip right over here, and right up top here is where the other missing clip is. This is the tube that falls off, this brown tube. So if you follow it up and down, you gotta make sure it's connected. The common place is down there. Let's go ahead and try to remove this. All right, go ahead and remove this clip, just like that, and put the new clip in. As such back. If you get a new one, you can do that for this one as well, which you probably should. Missing clip, that's going to be here. All right, let me show you what it looks like in the area where you need to check the hose that most commonly falls out. So once you remove that A-pillar, as I showed you, you're going to pay attention to a few things. One, you can see I have one leftover part of the clip. The other one is empty, so I got one. This one's kind of broken. I probably should have got 2. So that's just the key thing to show you when you're removing it, so you know what it looks like. And then I want to get you nice and close down here what the tube looks like, but it's really hard. So that's as far as the phone will go. You could kind of see the tip down there. You could kind of see down there that that's the area that you need to check. And then, as I said earlier, you also got to go back up top this way and make sure that's good. Also, make sure when you're reseating this hose that it's in these actual clips beforehand. Right down here, this hose, got to make sure that it's seated properly. Here, and making sure that behind there, obviously can't get the camera in, making sure that that's seated properly as well. So up top and on the bottom, if you can get your fingers down there, that's great, but that's the number one area where you need to connect. And mount this clip in, you're just going to slide it in as I did, like this, and through the side here. So go ahead and make sure that its tail, I believe, is like this. Go ahead and give it a little seat in. All right, as you can see now this is seated in. So I have this clip, I have an original clip here. Unfortunately, I don't have a new clip here, which is not good. Should have gotten another one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and line this all back up. Starting from the bottom area as such, like this, and then working my way up. So I'm making sure to align this top clip with, once again, the areas to align the clips with, there, and there, all right? Make sure that you're properly getting in on the weather stripping here. You also want to make sure that your weather stripping is the way, this probably needs a little bit of fixing. Make sure that your weather stripping is the way you did it before, so that you're not getting extra water inside the car. So make sure you're weather stripping. Like I said, you may need to remove this just to get in a little bit more if you need to. Now to dry your carpet, that's a whole separate video. I recommend you YouTube that separately. It's important that you seat all this back in with the weather stripping in the right spot. So pay attention to that when you're putting it back together. I do find working from the outside of the car is very easy, because if you look right over here on the driver's side, if you look in, you can basically see all of the clips as you see them from the top. So that way you get a good idea of what's going on. So I work halfway in between there, halfway in between here. You got the idea of clipping it back in. Now make sure that you seat this in properly. You kind of looking to push down on this, make sure it's seated all the way in, and then paying attention once again to the weather stripping right in this area is vital, okay? Just a little reinstallation tip. See, I'm slowly working my way in, making sure this area is in the right spot. It's important. See, as you can see, this wouldn't be good. There's this gap right here, so water can get in. Again, helping yourself out with these cards. As you can see, I'm using it to guide the rubber, trying to get the rubber into the right spot. Be gentle, don't rip the rubber. Give yourself even more work. As you can see, it definitely takes a little bit of working. Don't get impatient. Make sure it's all aligned perfectly. Show you once I properly put this whole thing back in. Now it does take a little bit of working, because you do have these clips. They'll just kind of, once you line them up properly, especially if you could work with from the top here on these bottom ones and getting them popped in, you give it a good smack. Once this area grips in, you slowly with your card, as I was just with one card, start, putting this behind here and properly aligning the rubber, getting the rubber all the way in so it seats nicely right on there, and you're all set. You also want to make sure when you come up here to open your rooftop, right over here, you're able to see a little hole. If you pour a little bit of water in there, once you repaired your disconnected tube over here, you'll be able to see the water comes out the bottom of the car, or should come out the bottom of the car. That way you'll know if the repair is done. So right down here, you'll be able to look, and you'll notice that the water should drip from the bottom area here. You also got to make sure that that's not clogged. So that's a good way to diagnose what's going on, by pouring a little bit of water in the corner here. The tube has definitely been repaired once you see the water come out the bottom part of the car. Now, there is a variety of other things. This is just one of the most common areas. So make sure that your drain tubes are actually unplugged. So you're going in and checking. If this didn't work, you want to go in, like I said, when you're installing that tube back here, you want to make sure you poke through with something. Make sure water is going through, give it a little test. Make sure do feel around these areas. If you feel this area is dry, most likely the drain tube's not disconnected here. But if you find that this area is wet, then you got to really diagnose this area well. If you obviously see that this spot's wet and you touch it and it's wet, you're going to be working with this up here. Now you do want to check the back. You do have these drain tubes in the back and on the passenger side, but they're not as common and faulting as the driver's side is. Put in the comment section if this video helped. If you had other drain tubes that needed servicing, like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one.